And we are live. Welcome everybody to Epic Sketch Time. Epic Sketch Time is a almost weekly online drawing group that's been going on now for 7 or 8 years. I forget which, but we started doing this long before the pandemic and Zoom. We started doing it with the Google Hangouts. And over the years, our attendees changed, but I think one of our long-term attendees is Bill. Anyway, so today I'm going to introduce myself, and I'll introduce people who, by who shows up. Let's see. I live in Tacoma, Washington. Again, my name is Mark Monlux, and I'm a freelance illustrator. I've been drawing pictures since 1985. I am a dinosaur. Next up is Katie. Katie, you came in the room first.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm KDC. I'm on Instagram as Evil Girlfriend Media. I'm a fairly new artist, but I draw horror-related pictures and cute fuzzy animals and tarot cards. So seem to be my specialties. Yeah, and you can find me on Instagram as Evil Girlfriend Media. Great, thanks.
Bill, you're up next.
I am Bill Morse. I'm a cartoonist and illustrator working in Seattle, Washington, and I also do a webcomic called Rhapsodies, along with other projects, which you can find at rhapsodies.wpmorse.com.
One of the projects I have going right now, which both Bill and Katie have been encouraging me on, is I have a Kickstarter where I'm trying to get a series of enamel pins funded. Well, I've actually got the first pin funded, and every additional pin is a stretch goal. So far, only one stretch goal has been met, and I'm thinking, oh, I might have to actually do some advertising because I was able to do one pin the first day, the second pin the second day, but it's been almost a week and I still haven't had the third pin done, and there's 6 in the series, so I need to get the graph moving back up again. Bill, what have you been doing in the last 2 weeks since I've been on vacation?
Oh, pretty much trying to keep up with my quota. That's
on your comic for Rhapsodies?
Yeah. I've been sort of been fighting a storyline that turned into a bit of a Shaggy Dog story, and I'm trying to rein it in a bit so that it is over by at least November.
Katie, I see that you're erasing some of your lines. First of all, I see that you used a black gesso for your background, and I'm kind of curious what you're using as your marker. Is it like a white grease pencil, or?
It is a seamstress pencil, and so you just put water on it and then it makes it go away. So I just was kind of erasing it. It's still there a little bit. This is actually a old canvas. Well, it's a new canvas that unfortunately something got laid on it and it has a little hole. So I thought I'd play with it today and just make something for fun for me, because I've been doing a couple pieces that were either gifts or commissions, and then so I was toying around with this idea, like Tim loves this singer named Dio, and so there's like this song called Rainbow in the Dark, and I was thinking about having our 2 little chihuahuas on a unicorn flying across the black sky with a rainbow in the background, but also lightning and mountains, and then like maybe some orcs on the ground with like their fist up at them. I don't know. I was just playing with some ideas of something fun to do. Over the last 2 weeks, I went to North Carolina. And I don't know if you saw on Facebook, I posted some sketches I did with color pencils that I was looking at some concepts for the Rainbow in the Dark. I would love to do like an album, a music poster for that kind of thing. And then Also a song by they're kind of like a skater punk band called Suicidal Tendencies. They had a song called Institutionalized, which is actually a really funny song. And it's about this poor kid, and like he just wants a Pepsi, and like everybody thinks he's on drugs and he's crazy. And so I had like a really cool concept for that, but it's that fine line between trying to do something that is kind of like gonzo and metaphorical, but also you're portraying it literally. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so I did them more concrete. Like I did since I was on vacation, I didn't really have, my favorite medium's painting. So I was just like playing around. And of course I brought the wrong kind of notebook to use with color pencils, because as I was coloring, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like crap. And I was like, oh yeah, this is where I remember Mark telling me about this. You always want to make sure you're using the right medium with the right tool. So but anyway, it was still fun. So I was thinking about that as well. I did finish the cat tarot card. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone and I'll share it with you guys, because I would love to have your critique. Let me remember how you guys told me how to share.
Oh, beg your pardon.
Oh, only the host can share. Never mind.
Oh, sorry. That's why I was apologizing. I have to hit the button and make it so that you can share. Just a moment.
It's okay. While you're doing that, let me pull it up, because I don't want to share my whole, album
there we go.
Pictures. Okay, here it is. Share content. Oop, where'd it go?
I was just looking, and I have, woohoo, I am so close to 200 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Who is watching this? That's what I want to know.
Well, so far, there's only one person watching that I know of, and that's my computer. So, because I have to have it up and running in the background. Let me take a look to see if there's anybody else watching.
Okay, guys, I don't know.
There's one right now.
Can you guys tell me what I'm doing wrong? Oh,
okay. So
like more further. Hold on, I found it. Yeah, there we go. Let me make sure I selected it. Done. All right, guys, tell me what you think about this picture here.
Now, I love the tower. I think that's an excellent rendition of the tower. Just superb.
So what about, here's the thing. I don't know why I have selective amnesia when it comes to digital drawing. Like if I get in the groove, I can do it. I just have to continually draw digitally. If I quit, it's like I have amnesia and it's starting all over. It's not like that for me with, actual tactile painting.
Right.
But for digital, that's why it took so long to do this card. So I actually wanted it to look like a kitten instead of a fat cat. But he kind of morphed into a fat cat, which is fine. But it was really funny because I'm like, I think this looks like, a cat shaking the mice out of the tower. And I wanted it to kind of be that metaphorical sense of like, you're either empathizing with the mice and this is a catastrophe, or you're relating to the mouse and you're shaking out all the intruders out of your life, so getting them out of your scratch post. And so that's all I was going with this. So one of my friends, she's a little older than me, so she treats me kind of like a kid sister, and she loves to joke with me. And so she calls me and she goes, so am I the only person that thought that it looked like there was a fat cat humping a phallic symbol?
Oh, good. She wasn't the only one.
Okay, until you guys started bringing it up, I was Okay, your color on the
I think it's the tongue. I think it's one of the things.
No, it's the color of the it's the very interesting
Flesh
fleshy
tone.
that you have.
Yeah. Okay, so the flesh tone, so I need to switch out the color.
No, I say keep it like that. I think there's
Okay.
nothing wrong with it being slightly Freudian.
Well, and I guess, the tower color or the tower card can metaphorically mean you're effed. I mean,
The other problem I would point out is the lightning looks like it's hitting the cat, not the tower.
oh yeah. Well,
I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with the lightning being where it's at. I like how things are a little. The one thing that I would like to see is, I know it sounds a little crass, but I think it's perfect for this image. I'd like to
the
see a
mouse needs a
rat.
butthole.
The rat needs a little pink rat penis with a little X in it.
Oh, I don't know about the excrement, but I could do a little pink booty hole.
A little pink thing, maybe a little tiny little X, but doesn't have to be excrement, but the little tiny, but no, just a little pink thing there would just be enough for me to kind of go, oh yeah, that's.
Yeah, well, and the thing is like I was telling Tim, I said we can make prints of this, but I said this will probably be like a filler card for when we create the deck, because most people, there's just certain cards people like better than others, and I think the tower is kind of one of those cards where you're not going to find that many people who are going to be attracted to it, but oddly the devil card is a card that people are very attracted to. So I just wanted to show it to you guys because I knew we had talked about it, months ago, and I just had not, sat down and made myself start doing digital again. And so while I was on vacation, I was like, okay, I'm going to do 2 sketch pieces, concept sketch pieces, and I'm going to finish this digital piece. And so I did what I set out to do. So I was pretty proud of myself. All right, I'm going to stop sharing.
Just out of curiosity, did you have the tower on a separate layer?
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, everything's on separate layers now. I don't.
So there is a way you can go onto that layer that just has just the tower. I mean, just the background of the tower, not the little mice or anything, just the twine. Is that all on its own background?
It is.
Okay, then you can mess around with the color and by simply going into your layers or your color values. Let's see if I can. Oh, my tablet's in the other room. I'll go get it. Hang on a sec.
Bill, have you been watching the new Game of Thrones show?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I wondered if you would.
I've not gotten to the Lord of the Rings one yet, but it's definitely on my list.
I know that there's a picture of the pug eating the cake, and Tim was like, "There's a new there's a new leader by the end of the ruler by the end of the season. It's going to be the pug." And so we were.
That's an angle I have not heard mentioned before.
Well, Tim and I were talking, and he was like, it'd be funny if you put the pug on the Iron Throne, and then there was like the dragons all flying in the back room, just like flaying fire everywhere while it's eating cake. I was like, that's an interesting concept. I kind of like it.
And let's see, I've also been watching season 2 of What We Do in the Shadows.
We've been waiting to watch that because we wanted it to just finish.
Right.
But then we couldn't wait. We were watching what is it? House of what is the name of the show? House of Dragons? Is that it?
House of the Dragon.
Yeah. And then we started watching the new Power of the Rings. Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Rings of Power. I have not gotten
Rings of Power.
I have not gotten to that quite yet.
Yeah, so we started watching that too. And then we're watching like a couple really fun shows that are like one show I'm watching, it's called This Fool, and it's a comedy. It's about these guys in South Central LA, which is really funny. But I don't know if you have Netflix. There's a show called Mo, and it's about this he's American now. He's was a refugee in Houston from Palestine, and it's like about his journey to trying to get his asylum case approved. And it's actually a really good show. It basically talks about like all the complexities of like immigration and just not even that it's hard, like a lot of stuff is so serious. The show kind of just talks about like what it's like to be a day-to-day person who you're stuck in this country, you don't really have a country, and the things you have to do to get by in the US. Oh, yes.
I'm going to break in because I've got something sharing on the screen right now.
Awesome.
So when you want to alter colors that are on a layer, you go in, you make sure that your layer is selected. You then go up to, where it says hue and, pardon me. The magic wand tool that's up there at the top next to the little mechanics tool. You click on that to pull up the adjustments, and then you hit, there's a couple of different ways. Hue, saturation, and brightness. If you click on that, you get these controls down at the bottom. And if you see by moving this back and forth, the saturation of the color can change. So you can intensify the color, makes it really strange. Another thing is you can switch over the base hue, its percentage, so that can change colors just by going over to this far end one and messing things back and forth. You might change that color. You can also darken it up. Or bleached out like a bad photograph. Now that's one place you can go.
Okay.
Another place is still in there. You can go on and click color balance. And this time you can make your reds red, things that aren't red that are more cool. You can make them red. You can make your reds, you can move this around, and like if you look over at It Conquered the World, see how much the greens can change and then turn over to the magenta because it pulls out the magenta in it when I bump it up?
Yeah.
So just by messing around with various color values, and you can, on this, you'll notice that your image might have had shadows and midtones and highlights, so you can go in and adjust those. I tend to work with mainly flat fills, but and another way is to go in and deal with your color curves. Let's say you want to just affect, okay, this is the gamma curve for just the blue. And by moving this, you can change the intensity, or not the intensity, but where that blue falls. If it was right in the middle, this is where it started out. Let's take a look at It Conquered the World on the left-hand side. if I was just to move this to the left, the blue range would change and become bluer. Move it to the right and it becomes more intense green. Let's go to the red. And here's the thing is you can add more plot points to this. And then move those around. And that'll shift the color all over the place. And because you have that thing on one layer, it'll apply it just to that layer. Isn't that fun?
No, it's cool because that's a completely different color scheme than.
Yeah, but it's a quick way to do it. What I would suggest that you do though is you duplicate your layer, go up here, select your layer, duplicate it, keep your original layer, just hide it, and then do alterations on the second layer. And that way, if you want to go back and say, oh, I've really messed up this thing, there's no way back, because you know how in Procreate, once you close it, there's no way back. But at least you do have the way back because you got this layer down below that you duplicate, and you just get rid of this one you've been messing up with and say, oh, I don't like my experiment, and just go back to your original one. Now, while I have you guys on, one of the things I want to do in the future with this group is I want to do a workshop or just a little drawing tip every month and have people come in just for the drawing tip. And I learned something from anime that I teach when I teach cartooning classes. So let's say you have your basic face. Okay, so this is my stickman guy. When dealing with expression, you got your basic smile with your closed mouth, and then you got your smile with your open mouth. But notice how this, okay, this smile looks kind of creepy. This smile looks a little bit more natural, and that's because the lip is more tight across the top. If I had just done that as a straight across smile, you're wondering what's making him look happier and happier and happier. Well, part of it is if you want to express joy, you curve the upper mouth up a little bit. And that is more of a smile. It's more joyful than just say a smile like that. So this is happy and this is joy, and it's all a matter of getting this part to go up higher. And you'll see, if you watch anime or watch manga, you'll see a lot. You can see the moment where that happens. There's some other smiles they do too, like they do this type of smile. I'll throw it over here. Yeah, I love anime because, they'll just draw a tiny little dot for a nose, which makes you forget that, there's a nose there at all. They just have a representation. You don't have to worry about keeping the size really consistent all the time if it's always just a little dot. I think it's the best animation device in the world just to have a little dot for a nose because it saves so much labor. It's like drawing a cartoon with only, 3 fingers. So in some animes recently, you might have noticed that they do this, where it's not a single line, but the smile is actually 2 lines. And that upper lip, what they're really doing is, in real life, you got a lip that has this part right here. And what they're doing is they're emphasizing this line being interrupted by that little bit of a mouth or lip coming over the top. And sometimes if they're trying to look like they're being really cute, they'll do that where they bring it in, angle it down, but don't connect it. But hey, today's lesson, if you want to draw joy, draw the upper lip like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's my drawing tip for today. Does anyone else have a drawing tip in regards to joy and mouth? And I should probably send out memos in advance. Oh, I want to show you guys this. This is something I was working on. I was thinking about doing this as part of an animation for my Kickstarter, but decided against it. But let me show you how this goes. And that went by really, really fast. So that's why I decided not to use it. I think the steps of, in fact, I should take a couple more tutorials on how to do animation in Procreate. I wanted to tell you guys about this one convention I went to this weekend.
Uh-huh.
It was here in Tacoma, and it was called the Punk Rock Flea Market.
Ooh.
And it was a 2-day event. It was held at Alma Mater, which has not one large space, but this thing was held out in its parking lot, up on its roof, and inside. And there were DJs and music. The tempos were pretty light, but you couldn't tell if you'd get a place inside or if you'd be in a place outside where you needed a tent. But it was cheap. Basically $100 for the weekend or $50 a day. Katie, Eli Wolf, or $50 a day.
Yeah, I know of his work. I've heard of this thing, but I've never been there before.
Well, it
know what
moves
you're saying.
around. Sometimes the Christmas one, I think, is going to be up in Seattle. A friend of mine was doing this. It has not a lot, I would say there was like maybe a dozen artists out of 100 vendors. It was crazy, weird stuff.
Oh, fun.
Oh yeah, we're talking one guy was selling nothing on his tables but spiked leather, collars with spikes on them. Another guy had glow in the dark patches. Another, which is evil threads, which has been. You'll see if you do. Are you going to be doing Rose City?
No, I'm not doing. I don't think we're doing any cons this fall.
So evil threads will be at Rose City, and there were a lot of people selling vintage clothing. I know a gal that runs a store here in town called Cravey Raven Vintage, and she was just selling stuff. And I was talking to Eli, and he said that he did just as well at this show, and even better than at some comic book conventions.
Wow.
And when I went in on Sunday, I went, this is a pretty good crowd for being out in the middle of Tacoma nowhere.
Right.
But
that's
it
cool.
was very much a niche. It was the punk rock scene. Everybody was wearing black and stitches and being goth and had bad tattoos. It was, and the stuff was really geared for this audience. And your artwork would have sold there so well because there are other artists selling their stuff. And I was kind of going, wow, Katie's stuff would have sold here.
Think
And
so?
I was watching people walk out. There was a vintage Barbie I saw there, Minton box. So I thought, nobody in this crowd is going to walk out with that Barbie. But oh my God, I haven't seen that vintage Barbie. I mean, it was like a soul performance Barbie type thing. But
Oh, wow.
5 minutes later, I watched someone coming down the stairs with it. I went, that's sold.
I need to get more stock for one thing. And then I need to learn about things like that. Like I said, I had gotten so disappointed with like the reaction I had received from people in the area with my art. So I hadn't really focused on even looking at anything local where I could showcase my art.
Well, as far as little immediate shows, also they only charged $1 at the door. Just enough. I like that because they didn't make it free. Because if they had free, you'd have, everybody just being dragged in off the street.
Right. I know what you're saying.
But $1, yeah, I can afford $1 to go in and look around, spend more money. And eat. And everyone told me that I went at Sunday at around 2:00. They were going to close at 5 on Sunday. It was still pretty thick. They said that the previous day, on Saturday they ran from 10 to 7, and then that, or was it 11, from 11 to 7? I think they ran from 10:30 to 5 or 6:30 on Sunday. They kept longer later in the day hours because they knew their audience. These guys weren't going to get up. Yeah. But yeah, I would highly recommend the punk rock flea market for one of your shows in the future. Inexpensive, and you probably sell a lot.
I will definitely check it out. I know.
And if Tim asked, nobody was selling books.
Okay, so he could always take books and just see if anyone gets them. Or there weren't readers there. What were you?
I don't think it was meant for the literary crowd. I mean, he could try selling stuff, but no, this was a type of mall where everyone's just looking for that weird, crazy thing to go home with.
Okay. Yeah, I know. It's very fascinating when you go to comic book conventions, what people are looking for. It's very different. So it's kind of cool to hear of something that probably there would potentially be buyers of what I'm doing. So that would be, yeah, really cool. Did I tell you we got into Texas Frightmare again? Thank the Lord.
No, you didn't. Congratulations.
Yeah, our booth is, I got a big goal talking about selling. Booth fee went up to $850. So
Ooh,
yeah, that's why I'm playing today, because I've got to actually sit down and start thinking about
is
what
that a 3-day con or?
it is. A 3-day con. Yeah, they're doing it over Memorial Day weekend this year, and it's going to be in a convention center, which means they're anticipating significantly more attendees.
Memorial Day. I hate it when they put it on a federal holiday.
I know.
I
So
mean, oh, that's always spelled bad news for but with I hope you guys do great. But Texas Nightmare has a huge crowd.
yes, this is they had to change venues, so they didn't really have a choice. The place that they had been doing it was going to have significant renovation in the parking garage. So there wasn't a choice to stay there, even if they wanted to, because it just wouldn't have been feasible. They would have been only able to have 800 people come to the con if they were that, and then they couldn't even park there. So they decided that they were going to go big or go home, and they rented out the Irving, Texas Convention Center.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well, so, I'm going to, like I told them, I said, they love my originals there, but the thing is I have to just sit down and analyze what sold, why did it sell, and I can't predict. We both know that you can't predict what will sell from one year to the next. I think a lot of people like my originals. I'm not going to do any big originals like Carrie and some of my others. They're just at a price point that the fact that I sold Carrie and oh gosh, I can't even think of his name right now.
Okay.
What is his name? Screaming Face. Evil
Just-
Dead.
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Uh, the fact that I sold those and I sold them to the same person, like that likelihood is small that I would have someone spend that much money at one time again. And so I don't think I'm going to do the bigger price point pieces that are like $250, $300 again. I think I'll mostly do if I'm going to do originals, most of my originals will be anywhere from I don't think I'll do anything over 125. Just because even though it's one piece and you have more money, it's still, what if that piece doesn't sell and you could have sold 4 or 5 pieces in its place because they were smaller at a different price point. But I also, yeah.
Now I agree with you with taking smaller pieces because that way you can take more with you. But me, I'm always going to encourage you to keep that price tag up there.
I know. I have that in the back of my mind more now. That was Crystal. I was showing her commission, and I said, Crystal, I said, you're really lucky you negotiated this back when I had very little talent, because I would never sell this for this price. And she laughed, and I was like, yeah, it's funny, but at the same, it is funny. But I do know that you learn as you sell your stuff and what people will give you for it. You have to ask for what you're worth. But that price was negotiated a long time ago, so I honored that price. But
did you like her painting?
Oh, she does. Yeah, I've still got a couple things I'm sitting on it over. And so as soon as I get I'm comfortable with it, we're gonna coordinate a drop off. I have to spray paint. I'm even including a frame. That's first class service, huh?
Yeah, it is.
So, and I've thought a lot about like people love they love original, they love hand drawn there. So I'm working on my whole studio area because I'm gonna do a lot of I'm gonna do some probably hand drawn like alcohol ink and alcohol marker originals because they're lightweight, they're easily framed, and then just do prints. And that's where I want to get better at understanding like how to make prints, because it's one thing to make prints on even if you're using a printer, a high quality printer, having the prints made by a printer and learning how to do them so that they look like they're high quality is going to get you a different price point for your prints too, right?
Yes.
Versus something you look like you printed at home.
I have a friend up in Ketchikan, Alaska, and he has this large Epson printer that he prints. He does a lot of photographs on it. But last year, he went from making just regular prints to putting his prints onto canvas and printing on the canvas. You know, instead of just using regular paper, he said, you know, I'm going to put a canvas through this and then mount the canvas.
Wow. Okay.
And those have been selling.
I bet, because they look like original art.
They look like original art. So you may want to consider, you know, is there a place around here that does canvas printing?
Yeah, well, because see, that would be really nice if I do print it, or
what I saw in Hawaii is people were doing canvas printing, and they would do a limited amount of canvas prints, and the reason what would make it a limited amount is because he would then go back in and add 3 or 4 strokes of fresh paint onto the print.
Oh, cool.
To
Okay,
make them
got
unique. And so what you could do is, let's say you had a victim going like this, and
yes.
then you just painted them like that, but you left some of the blood off and come in later and just whack it with the brush to give it some new blood.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea.
Oh, I'm just full of it. I'm so full of it, you wouldn't believe.
I know you're always giving me great ideas. But yeah, so I've got to figure out how, because last year my goal was to pay for everything, and we pretty much hit our goal, right? So we paid for our booth. I think the only thing we didn't pay for was our food. But we paid for our hotel, we paid for our flight, and we paid for our booth, plus the cost of, producing the things. So this year, this is upping the ante. It's like we have to pay for the booth is almost twice the price. Plus, we're going to be at a new hotel, new stuff.
What does Kim think about you lowering your prices, since you pretty much covered the table last time?
I don't think he cares. The big thing for him, he just we were over. I think one of the things that happened is, one, the table setup was not conducive for how he likes to sell. Like the way I had that kind of like enclosed gallery thing that I did. So like his only request is that we have it where the table's more open so he can sit and talk to people, because we had done the table the same way for many, many years. And so he had his whole setup of how he liked to pitch his books and stuff. And the other thing is, I think we were I think we were both actually surprised at how hungry people were for my art, and they just came at it. Like, it was overwhelming sometimes when we were there. So like, we just want to try to set something up that's a little more friendly, and then able to, make sure that books get sold. Because I do plan to write this year too. Like, that's one of my not to put any more pressure on myself or anything crazy like that, but that is also one of my goals, is to write more. Having a full-time job and painting and making digital tarot cards and having a house full of dogs and a husband isn't enough for me. I guess I need to write books. So I do plan to finish I wrote my young adult novel as open. So I want to I'm going to write a second book, because I've had too many people over the years ask for a second book, and I didn't and I told them I would write it, and I hate lying. And so it's like, it's been a goal of mine to get that book finished. And then I have a short story collection I want to finish. So between his new books he'll have out, the art, and then hopefully I'll have 2 books out. Hopefully we can pay for all of this. The things but like I said, it's a working vacation that just challenges me to continue to be creative. So it's kind of like in Shaun of the Dead, when she yells at when Sean, I can't remember what Sean, is it Sean or is it his roommate, and he says, stop doing that, and he says, I'll stop doing it when you stop laughing. So it's kind of like, as long as people keep encouraging me, I guess I'll just keep doing things. This looks like a hot mess, but it will not look this way next week. Bill, you have been super quiet, or we've been super chatty, one or the other.
Yes. One thing, have you been looking into doing any other merchandise besides the paintings? I mean, make cards out of the good ones and stuff, so it's not just selling originals.
I haven't recently. No, I do have ideas. Since I started this new job, like, I'm learning how to be an IT project manager after being a nurse for 17 years. So it's kind of like, it's been very exhausting, and I have to get some kind of project management certification. So I see like the potential. Like, I know a lot of people like using Redbubble, and there's like a couple other options that people use to make to do all of that stuff, right? I just don't want anything I do. I don't want the shipping burden. That's the big thing for me right now. Like, I don't have the time to put my effort and time into shipping.
The fulfillment process.
Yes. I don't, because I love doing clothes resale. Like, I love doing that just for fun, like going and finding clothes and then reselling them and trading stuff. So, but that takes a lot of energy, because you're dealing with so much shipping, and then there's all that worry about the tracking and where is it, blah blah blah. Okay. I love how nothing ever looks like what you imagine it's going to look like in your head, but I just wanted to kind of flesh this out. Bill, what are you working on this week? You should show us real quick, since we have 9 minutes left.
It's just another strip, but Oh, wow. Got it in one for a change. Oh, that helps. Oh, darn. Try that again. Haven't gotten that far with it yet. I've sort of been having a slow patch as far as a combination of having a few other things I needed to finish today, along with a touch of writer's block. So I haven't gotten quite as far as I normally do. But
It's a little stunted today too.
But as I said, I'm sort of trying to, at the moment, I'm sort of trying to finish up this story that's already run twice as long as I intended it to. And every time I think I'm filling in some of the plot holes and moving forward with it, it also feels like I'm padding. But I have a heart, but it has to be done by November, because I need one of the characters back in where he's supposed to be in time for the Christmas story, and it seems weird to be thinking about the Christmas story in September. Though I have a few of the beats down, I'm just sort of at the moment thinking of good movies to mix together as inspiration. So, for example, last year was kind of sort of a cross between the Polar Express and Stalker.
Which is a weird combination. So I have a question, you guys. I am redoing the Eventbrite Epic Sketch Time event. And I am thinking about charging $1 to attend. If people get on via Eventbrite. Simply because otherwise I might not be giving it my full attention. What do you guys think?
With the Eventbrite link, you mean?
Yes, strictly for this is, for people who are just coming in for the first time, because we've had a lot of people just come in once and then never came in again.
Right. I'm fine with it.
We can always tell them, hey, now that you're in, go here and sign up for the list here. And then that way you don't have to pay for the buck.
There you go.
And that way I don't have to double check both places quite as often. I'm thinking about it. I'm taking a look at the calendar for next week. I should be back home in time to do this next week. My wife has a dental appointment in Seattle. So on the off chance that I seem to be not here, it probably means that I'm in traffic. You both know how Seattle traffic is at that time of the day.
Far too well. One of the
Oh.
reasons I'm very fond of my bicycle.
But Bill, you never leave the city. It's so sad.
Mhm.
So let's see. Should be back in time. My wife and I usually would go there because she's got a dentist, and then we usually catch some lunch. We haven't been to dim sum in ages,
Ooh.
but my wife still isn't comfortable eating in crowded places. So she has eaten out a couple times. But she didn't come with me to the flea market. She didn't want to deal with that. And let's see. So we usually get, I would say we normally get home by 4:30, but on the off chance, try to make it in and direct message me, and I'll let you know. If I think I'm going to be late, I'll send you both, since you're regulars, a direct message. And I want to thank everybody for coming, because believe it or not, it's been half an hour. Oh, Katie, your Deadpool. That is a Deadpool thing, right?
No, I'm not going to tell you what it is. You'll be surprised next week.
Okay. Deadpool, I was having some very nice dreams last night, a whole series of them, but I can't remember what they are now because in the last one, Deadpool showed up.
This is not Deadpool, I promise. It's also
There-
not my chihuahuas.
There are all of these weird hand things running around causing havoc. Hands of various sizes, some of them as big as its cars and others like small. And suddenly Deadpool shows up and he's chopping away and it went just deep marvel all of a sudden. I've never had him show up in one of my dreams before.
Hmm.
So I see, Bill, you got your Freudian glasses on. What do you make of this?
Yeah, they are pretty silly, aren't they?
Oh, I know. I think your glasses look great. I'm not going to knock you for wearing glasses. I
Yeah,
just,
my spare pair broke on me, and so I'm stuck with these readers until my order comes in what is probably a week.
so everybody, you've heard it. Let's place bets on whether or not Bill's getting his new glasses by next week, and I'll see you all then.
Okay.
Bye.